Alright, real quick, Sawking Devlog number 2, I think. Production has indeed sped up quite a bit since the last one. I did indeed do that. So as you can see, there's a lore button on the main menu. It does literally nothing, but it exists. It takes you to a blank screen with the same color as the menu. I plan on implementing all of the lore entries later, considering I only have to do like 5 of them, the amount of bosses there are, plus the player character, which is not a lot, all things considered, but right now it does nothing, and I'm actually going to remove the option until the player beats the final boss, so this will unlock once you beat the final boss, just like in Halloween 2. Beginning the game here, same opening as last time, effectively. Pongo actually has animations now, and attacks and stuff. So, yeah, the mud throw attack, which is implemented, and the ram attack. Both the attacks that I said I would implement in the previous devlog, I have. So, not a lot to say about Pongo, because again, I went over that in the previous devlog. It just wasn't visual, and now it is. The boss is indeed obviously more engaging now that you actually have to avoid attacks and keep up your combo, but it's still pretty much the same thing. Anyway, now we move on to boss number 2, which is fully implemented now. This is Fleshfall the Disposer, which he himself has no attacks. He just bounces around. I wanted a more player-sized boss, as most of the bosses in this game are going to be way bigger than the player. So the way it works is there's a conveyor belt at the bottom of the screen. Once the objects down there are on the same vertical axis as the player, they move up. Or I guess not vertical, horizontal axis as a player. They, shift and go directly up. Projectiles will also come from the right side of the screen sporadically. The ones from the bottom have 3 different sprites they can be, and the ones coming from the right of the screen have 4 different sprites they can be, with the 4th one having a 1 in 20 chance of showing up. There it is. It is a dead Gruntus. Because, fun little reference, I guess. That's actually kind of perfect timing, but Anyway, Fleshfall himself has no attacks. Same amount of health as Pongo. I imagine every boss in this game is going to have 250 health. But, And once Fleshfall reaches about 50, he'll do a phase change. All of the projectiles on screen will stop moving, and he will start sprinting at the player. Now, if you have... let me reset the fight. Now, if you have enough, damage built up, with your combo meter, you can end the phase, like, really before it begins and won't risk being hit. But if you've been passive while fighting Fleshfall, that phase is actually going to be tricky. Now, one of the projectiles froze in midair there. That is not supposed to happen. If it has already left the conveyor belt, it is supposed to continue going up. But, If it hasn't left the conveyor belt, it's supposed to pause entirely. But yeah, that is indeed the Fleshfall boss. It's not crazy difficult, but I do think it is more involved than Pongo, and I think it's a pretty good second boss encounter. Now, here we have a very unfinished third room. By the way, if you run out of health in this game right now, nothing happens, just for test purposes. But I will do a run, or at least attempt a hitless run, just to show that it is entirely possible and fair. Let's see if I can do it, at least. Obviously, Fleshfall is significantly harder than Pongo. Well, I'm going to reset. I still need to rework how the dash works. I'm probably going to remap it to the K button right now, because having it be in a completely separate position than both WSD and the attack button, it's kind of dumb, so I'll probably remap it to the K button. It has been sped up. The player's saw blades have been sped up slightly, and the delay between the recharge for the dash has also been sped up, which I think has helped with it quite a bit. It's still not great, but it is better than it was before. Fleshfall now, which is going to be the problem. As he is significantly harder than Pongo. In his first phase, though, he will not leave the right half of the screen. So, yeah. Yep, it's possible to do both of them in a row without getting hit. Which I knew that already because I've done it, but still. As for the third boss, I'm thinking about having him be like Pillbug themed or roly-poly or whatever you want to call them. I'm thinking about him having that theme. And I'm debating between having the third boss arena be a cave area, like an underground cave area, or like an ice arena. Not with like ice physics because those are the worst thing ever. But one of those two things where stalactites can fall from the ceiling. But either icicles or stalactites. But that is what we have so far, which means technically I am halfway done in regards to the bosses that have to be made. Because again, I've set the goal for this game to be 4 bosses, but I will do more if I finish that. Yeah, halfway done, effectively, of the stuff that I have promised to do. So that's fun, I guess. The final boss, by the way, will be the Sawking. He is the character the game's named after. But that is what we have so far, and I'm fairly happy with it, I guess. Ooh.